Alright guys, for the past couple of years now, Ketchum has been eating good regarding leagues. The price for this was having to watch him lose. And again, and again, and again, and again, and again. And, while I've been seeing people discuss how good, bad, or even okay they were, I'd never seen someone ponder if Ash could have won these leagues. But I guess that's why I'm here today. The main premise for this is that I erase whatever trainer that defeated Ash and try to speculate on if he could have actually won the whole thing. This was mainly inspired by the Sinnoh League, for which you very well may know they required a guy with mythicals and legendaries to write Ash off from the season. Quick note is that when these characters are erased, they are mainly replaced with fill-in characters that lose to Ash so he can advance to the next round. And to make this not boring, reserves are banned unless Ash used them. That means no whipping out Charizard in the Unova League or bringing Sceptile in the Kalos League. We're basing it off what Ash could have done, so the scenarios play out as normal. But you probably already understanding how the premise works by now, so without stalling any longer, let's get started. Starting off with Kanto, this section is more about the journey and not the destination. To be frank, from the start, I think the story implies that Ash really couldn't win, no matter what. Whether he made it to the top 8, top 4, or even the finals, the writers would have stopped him as the main lesson was that Ash had a lot of room to grow. However, let's truly see how far the kid can go. I'm sure you know, but Ash wasn't at his best when fighting Richie, due to Team Rocket shenanigans. And while Richie doesn't exist in this scenario, I will make constant note of his battle with Ash alongside his strength as a trainer to properly gauge Ash's hypothetical performance. Back to what I said about Ash being nerfed, I believe the battle would go a full 180 if his team wasn't exhausted. Even without Charizard, I believe the likes of Tauros or Muk or quite literally anybody else could have got the job done. In fact, I think it's never really talked about how Ash sorta was on par with Richie despite using a tired team. But now that we settled that Ash could have beaten Richie, let's check on Richie's match against Assunta to see how Ash would have compared. In this match, the two were brought down to the last Pokemon, and seeing as we just discussed how Ash could have beaten Richie, there's a good chance Ash can take down Assunta. Seeing as to how a tired roster of Ash is relative to Richie, I have no doubt about this, even if it's Ash's first battle. And know that this can work without Charizard, as Ash has enough without him. But moving on, the rest of this lies purely on Assunta, shockingly. I'll make it known that this will be a potential stretch, but one stretch I'm willing to reach for. So, when they show the top 3 players in the closing ceremony, the trainer in the top 2 bears a resemblance to Assunta. I mean, look at it, there's no mistaking it. And if we were to take that into account, our presumption that Ash can be here means that in theory, Ash has the power to make it to the finals of the Indigo League, without Charizard, mind you. Sadly, we don't know how strong the winner is, and not to make a bigger stretch than I might have, I'm going to say that Ash would have lost here. Like said earlier, this is about the journey, not the destination. The fact that Ash technically could have been the second strongest trainer in the Kanto League at the time is quite a feat. Following up from the last one, the Johto League is pretty straightforward to understand. Don't worry, the reason why Kanto was so long was because the league itself was very vague. Everything after should be massively shorter and easier to follow. Anyways, all you gotta know is how Harrison vs John Dickinson would have played out. See, they were pretty much even until Harrison's eventual defeat. On paper, you'd think that John Dickinson would beat Ash because he beat the guy that beat him, right? Well, actually not, because while Harrison lost, that was mainly due to the lack of Blaziken in his team, as Charizard roughed him up a little too much. And I don't know about you, but if Ash lost so narrowly to the guy that could have beaten John Dickinson, I don't think there's any doubt who'd win between Ash and Dickinson. And if you didn't know by now, John was the one that won the whole league, so basically, Ash definitely could have won the Johto League. Alright, with Hoenn, this comes as a very easy answer, but it comes with a teensy bit of guessing. Now, it's obvious that Tyson won the league, but after defeating Ash, it's basically unknown how well the other competition competition performed afterwards. You could say that Ash in theory could beat the rest of the competition simply based on the fact that Meowth Boots was barely able to get up. But who knows, maybe the exact same thing happened in the semifinals and finals. As much as I can easily say Ash could win, I really want to make it known that somehow in some way Ash could potentially lose. I mean, based on the battles Ash had before fighting his rivals, these league competitors were no joke, they were actually relative to him. Luckily, I am with the party that thinks the rest of the competition isn't strong enough, so I'd say that Ash could have won the Hoenn League. For the Sinnoh League, this is once again a very easy answer. I think that so many people were distracted by their rage from Tobias that anything else from the episode might have flown over their heads. Or those same people probably noticed and didn't care enough about it anyways, who knows. I'm just spitballing since this is not talked about enough in my opinion. Anyways, what I'm trying to get at is that despite getting swept like anyone else, Ash did the impossible by taking down Darkrai. Not only did nobody do this beforehand in the tournament, but the guy in the finals shares the same fate as those nobodies. In a very shocking way, this meant that the combined efforts of Heracross, Gible, and Skiptile was strong enough to take out full teams of your average league level trainer. Although, if you ask me, the likes of Barry and Paul definitely would have rivaled these three in strength. All in all though, Ash would have closed off the Sinnoh League very easily. As for the Unova League, there's a bit of speculation to go over. Even without Cameron, there's a big threat that lies further in the tournament. This threat is none other than Virgil, and to be honest, this may very well be a bust from the beginning. Because Virgil beat the guy that beat Ash, it's very easy to say that he loses outright. Although, I don't want to give up hope as there's still a bit of speculation to go about. Regarding Cameron, I believe there's a chance that Ash could have beaten him. If Ash used a better team, then this scenario probably would have been likely. You know, replace Unfezant with Crocodile and or replace Oshawott with Palpitoad, who knows. Those are just examples, but I'm pretty sure you understand from this is that the more likely Ash could have beaten Cameron, the more likely Ash could have beaten Virgil. And while I spent all this time giving Ash hope, I have to crumble it back down just to say that he loses to Virgil anyways. Sorry for wasting your time. I mean, Virgil practically 3-0'd Cameron, so no matter how much you could have hyped Ash up, the results wouldn't be that different. So overall, Ash would have made it to the top 8. And even though we got that out of the way, I'd also add that even if we puffed Virgil's existence out of the tournament, Ash still would have get swept in a similar manner. This is based on the finals match where Virgil fought against a guy named Dino. And surprisingly enough, the latter brought the former to his last Pokemon. The fact that this is possible truly meant that overall, even if we erased the guy that beat Ash and even the league winner himself, Ash would not be able to win the Unova League. As for the Kalos League, I mean, this is quite obvious. Ash was quite literally in the finals, so yeah, easy win. And obviously, Ash won the Alola League alongside the Masters 8, so this is quite the underwhelming finale, huh? Well, anyways, that's all the leagues. To summarize, Ash would have been the runner-up in the Indigo League, winners of the Johto, Hoenn, and Sinnoh League, top 8 of the Unova League, and winner of the Kalos League. Originally, I was going to do all of these one by one, but I realized they had to be too short on their own, so I grouped them up together. Also, I look forward to some of these speculations as I have more in store. Anyways, there's no point in dragging this ending on longer, so yeah, that's pretty much all I got for now. Yep.